Bombshell interview. You're not going to believe what Mica Miller's ex-father-in-law has to say about her first marriage with Jeremy and what he knows about Pastor John Paul Miller. Also, ex-wife Allie Williams files for a child custody modification. Will John Paul lose his children? John Paul Miller's ex-wife Allie Williams filed for a child custody modification. They even claim to have a exhibit list. I'll show you the screenshot above where this information was found out. You can see that it was filed on May the 28th. We don't know any more information about this or even what his current arrangements are. But in the meantime, I wanted to bring you this exclusive interview that I had with Mica's ex-father-in-law. There are going to be several parts to this. This is going to be part number 1, and you're not going to believe what he says happens, and things that he knows about John Paul Miller. And watch until the very end to see a letter that he wrote his ex-father-in-law. It is outlandish. You're not going to want to miss this. So make sure you bookmark this so you can find your way back, and that you're also following me so that you'll be notified when I post the other parts.
He needed to come up with $80,000 within a weekend, to purchase it. So everybody gave money, and he came up with the money, and he purchased a church that needed to be remodeled. It was a dump, basically, and needed all kinds of work. But it was for $1 million, and within 1 year, he had that place paid off. And, so that's 2012. He's basically begging for money, doesn't really have any money. People gave and got the church because we all cared. We gave our 10% and all that and extra money.
Yeah.
And, and then now in 2024, he's worth $5 million. Really? Owns all kind of property. And
where do you think that extra money has come from?
It came from the people, obviously. He's basically got everything tied to that church. So he's tax exempt of everything. So. So all the money that's going in there is basically lining his pockets. He's buying property, doing all these things, but he's not doing anything church-wise as far as really, helping people out, or you know what I mean? He's basically just pocketing the money, making himself look like he's something. Remodeling the place, making it look like it's some concert hall,
Yeah.
He basically tore out. He wasted a lot of money. He spent a lot of money remodeling that, and he basically tore it all out and redid it all. Not too long after that it was done, But as far as, being shady with money and taxes and all that, Mica must have had some really good information, and he didn't like it.
Right.
Look at the little picture she drew. She's got money signs around him, and she's got a mask over her face, and
I did see that.
That is like just
happened to you.
That says a lot to me.
Yeah.
And then JP's like, you saw all the comments of, well, he said, church is for fake people and all that, and behind closed doors and all that, and he didn't like anything about it, but now he is a pastor and doing the same thing his father did. The tree, it doesn't fall far from the tree.
Right.
It's a big money game to him. Being successful and pocketing the money, and it's all about him. It's not about a church. Everything he's preaching up there is about him. And that, I've seen him go off the wall. Back when I was remodeling the place, he got pissed off, and he started throwing my frickin' tools out the door, and blah blah blah. And I said, fine, I don't need to be here. I quit my job to help you out, and you got a problem with me, somebody else, or something didn't go right. I said, I'm out of here. I'll pack my leave, and I did. And then he comes over and apologizes. I've seen him act pretty crazy over there. If anybody was crazy and manipulative and needed medication, he did. He was taking medication even back then.
He was?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You're talking about in 2012?
He's been on medication 2006 when he started. I mean, my ex-wife and her family and a few other close friends were there when he started this church and supported him. And my wife also was, even prior to that, was working for his father. You know, Cathedral Bible School and all that and crap. I mean, way back. So yeah, they know quite a bit of information and some of the stuff that's going on. Just my time with him. I mean, I left that church in 2015 basically because he was calling my house at 2:00 in the morning. You know, it's like I had people coming up to me in the church going, "Is that your wife? Are you married to her? Because why is she following JP around?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah." But he would call so one day he called real late, and I confronted him the next day because it was, I was a head usher. I said, "Hey, man, we need to talk after church today. I don't appreciate you calling my house at 2:00 in the morning and waking us up,
Mm-hmm.
And he got all paranoid, and he had a couple of other ushers that were, bodybuilder-looking type guys come over, and I'm the head usher, and he had me leave the church. And then he had me, I couldn't go back unless I wrote this letter out the way he wanted it written out, that I would never do that again, and blah, blah, blah. And that's that letter I'm going to give you.
He's such a narcissist. And then he tries to gaslight everyone.
Yeah, I mean, there's several women that he was hitting on in that church. I mean, Ashley Johnson is one of them that he was pretty friendly with. There's all kinds of them. Friendly. I mean, I felt bad for Allie. I mean, she was a sweet girl, pretty laid back, loved Jesus, and I can't believe he did that. He had a beautiful wife,
Mm-hmm.
He really did. He had a great wife, and he goes and blows it and blows up his best friends, and just cuts right into Jeremy and all that. And Jeremy handled it pretty well. He just basically, he moved on. He just bought a house with Mica, and they were just starting out, and JP's doing that,
Right. But Jeremy's marriage to Mica, how long did it last?
Or 18, I think maybe she was 18. It lasted, let's see, 2012, maybe 2 years, if that. Yeah, maybe 2 years or less.
Was it just because they were real young?
No, they were actually getting along. I think JP just happened to catch Mica off guard at the church one day, and next thing you know, they're playing around at the church, and people caught him. People caught him messing around. I mean, there was rules for JP. I mean, he had his wife had programs on his home computers that he couldn't use a computer unless his program was on there because he had a protection. Yeah. And all that kind of stuff. So there was locks, special programs where he couldn't surf the internet other than just certain things.
Right.
But he basically, he would always be hanging around with Jeremy and Mica, taking them out to dinner, taking them out to concerts, taking them to little trips here and there, and just having her over to the house, babysitting all the time. And you know what his motive was? He was, like everybody's saying, he was grooming her.
Right.
When he was around and she was around, he was like her idol.
If I would have known that you wouldn't be here anymore, I would have made the moments last a little longer. 'Cause now I'm alone, and you're just a memory in my mind. I would have given anything to say goodbye. If I would have known